Hello, everyone. I'm Lady.
And I'm Alana.
And this is Spookery. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to this Titanic endeavor that we are conducting.
Heck yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I need to know. What happened? What's the third tragedy?
What's going on? So for those of you who are unaware, this is a part 2 of my Titanic series. I'm not going to tell you how many parts are coming ahead. Just got to listen and find out. If you have not listened to part 1, please pause this episode. Go back an episode. Please go listen to that episode. You're going to need it for this one. We're going to pick up right where we left off. Also, guys, please don't listen to too many of these in order. It will bum you out. That's my warning for this series. It's a bummer. We're going to talk a lot about boat crashes. We're going to talk a lot about death. We're going to talk a lot about the ocean. And if you're scared of the ocean or scared of boat death,
don't be.
This might not be the series for you.
You can edit that out.
You are allowed to be afraid of boat death if you so feel it. There is no shame here.
As someone who's scared of boat death.
As someone who is scared of boat death, don't listen to her. Yeah, guys, just a heads up. This is a bummer series. Feel free to take breaks. Feel free to pause. Feel free to recharge, reset, have a palate cleanser, go watch something fun, soft, fluffy, whatever you need. This Titanic is not going anywhere. She has been in the same place for about 75 years. She will continue to be in that same place. Spoiler alert.
Wow, way to give away the ending.
Sorry. If you don't know the ending of the Titanic, I feel like part 1 gives it away pretty easily. On that note, I'm just going to get straight into it because we have a lot of history to cover and we have less than 2 hours to do so. So let's pick up right where we left off.
Yeah.
So in part 1, we covered the first 2 tragedies of the White Star Line. The first one being the RMS Taylor, and the second one being the SS Atlantic. Things are high and low. Things are not doing great for the White Star Line. But we are now in 1892. White Star Line has decided that they're wanting to get into the cargo trade. So they're starting to build specific ships that are specifically for transporting cattle across the North Atlantic. To do this, they manufacture 2 brand spanking brand new ships called the SS Bovik and the SS Naronic. And these are even bigger than their passenger lines. They're only designed to carry about 75 people. That's crew and passengers, and they're pretty much stocked to carry at least 200 cows. The SS Bovik and the SS Naronic had their maiden voyages in 1892, and they are setting sail on the North Atlantic. Now, as you can imagine, we're not hyper-focusing on these 2 cargo ships if there is no reason to do so. That's right, we are now going straight into the White Star Line's 3rd disaster, or rather what it's known as, its 3rd incident.
It's 3rd incident.
So, welcome to the 3rd incident of the White Star Line. I will be your host today. All right, so on the 11th of February, 1893, less than a year after her maiden voyage, the SS Naronic left Liverpool with 60 crew and 14 passengers aboard. They still had the capacity for 1 more person.
Oh.
So most of the passengers were accompanying the cargo, which was, in fact, livestock, but it was not cattle this time round. Instead, it was 2 horses, several cages of pigeons and chickens, as well as 2,876 tons of goods. So
Okay.
This was all farming goods, this was produce, this was stuff that was being transported from England all the way to New York.
Gotcha.
So some of these goods included several chemicals, such as acid, potassium chlorate, sodium sulfide, and calcium hypochlorite. And yes, they did check that they had plenty of coal for this journey. That's a throwback to part 1.
That's all they learned.
That's all they learned. They were like, you know what, we're going to make sure this time that, in fact, all White Star Liners have enough coal. They did anyway, but
yeah.
they gotta stop underselling it.
Even though that was not a problem the first time, they made damn sure it was still not a problem.
Yes, they were like, that's the one lesson we learned, is that it is not, in fact, a problem. We do have enough coal on all of our ships. Okay. Now, of course, just because there is enough coal doesn't mean that there aren't other problems aboard this ship. One of the major problems on the SS Naronic is she had no wireless telegraph system on board, in which, to send a distress signal in case anything happened.
But it's fine, because nothing bad's gonna happen.
Nothing bad is gonna happen. There is nothing wrong with the SS Naronic.
Yeah.
This whole event happened 5 years before the Marconi Company opened their factory and became a ship staple. So before this, they were just kind of using the bog standard wireless systems. Marconi became the staple 5 years later, but right now they're kind of like, it's nice if we have a wireless system, but it's not necessary. That means that while the Noronic was out in the open sea, she was kind of on her own. She didn't really have a way to communicate other than maybe like some signal flares or like maybe waving at a ship that went by, but that was kind of it. Maybe like lamplights, they could do codes that way, but you're kind of on your own.
I love how just carefree to the wind. We don't have a history of problems or anything. Let's just, freeball this one. We're totally fine. Caution to the wind.
Nothing bad has ever happened at the White Star Line.
Nothing bad.
Nothing bad has ever happened at the White Star Line.
Oh my gosh, these hopeful idiots.
All right, so after leaving Liverpool, try saying that fast sometimes. After leaving Liverpool, the Noronic stopped briefly in North Wales before heading out again in rough seas. Rough seas. Once again, we're heading into stormy weather. We're heading into low visibility. This seems to be a trend.
And we're doing it with no communication this time. But it's fine because we have enough coal. Don't you worry.
We have enough coal. Those pigeons, those chickens, they are making it to New York. There is no problem.
Not at all.
The Noronic sails into the open seas that are a little bit rough, and she is never seen again.
Well, that's not good.
That's not good.
No.
So her whole journey was only supposed to take about 10 days. So from Liverpool to New York, it was going to take about 10 days to cross the North Atlantic. Drop her off, everything was going to be fine. So right out the gate, the Noronic 10 days later did not make it to New York.
Jeez.
She did not arrive at her scheduled time, but people weren't really overly worried. This wasn't a passenger ship, this was mostly livestock, as I said. So they were like, okay, so 60 crew members and 15 possible farmers, possibly delivery guys, are just late. Nobody's really waiting for them. Nobody's like, okay, well, we're not devastated. Now we have an open pier that we can't give to another ship.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
So delays at the time were actually quite frequent. Especially, if propellers can fail, engines can get faulty, you can run out of coal and redirect to Halifax. Things happen. And delays that lasted days or weeks were not super uncommon. So right out the gate, people were like, now I am inconvenienced by the ship being late and it will not affect me in any other way.
All right.
Yep.
I mean, I can understand, like you said, that just being such a normal thing at the time that you just, it would be weird if you got upset at it or like if you did react, like it would just be like, well, this happens. It's a ship being late. Like, what do you want to do? Don't cry over a ship being late. Don't cry over spilled milk.
It's a cargo ship being late as well. It's not a passenger ship. I will keep reiterating, it's not a passenger ship. There's only 74 people aboard. Like, it's not like billionaires have gone missing. It's not like, these are civilians. These are workers. Like, we don't really bat an eye today. If something happens to a cargo, like we had the cargo ship that got stuck in the canal.
Yeah.
The Evergreen. And it was like, people were like, it's more a joke than we're worried about the people on board. Like, it's just stuck.
Yeah.
Like, things happen. The cargo ships are like, they're like less than ships, almost.
Yeah. It's weird how that perception is.
Yeah. So also keep in mind, this journey was in February, so bad weather was kind of expected. Rough seas, low visibility. It's a cargo ship. It's not really like equipped for, speedy get around. They're not designed for speed.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, like headwinds got it. It'd been pushed back a little bit into the ocean. We're not worried. It was only weeks and weeks later that people started going, it's kind of weird that the Noronic never showed up. Like, should we be concerned about that?
Yeah.
White Star Line was like, guys, chill. She's fine.
Of course.
She's like, she's the best cargo ship we ever built. She's the best cargo ship in the world. She's fine. Don't even worry about it. Don't sweat. You guys, just wait. She'll be here like tomorrow. We'll be fine. This
is not the attitude that they should have after how many incidents they've already gone through as a company.
Well, I mean, this is only the third incident. Third time's the charm, right? March 1st, nearly a month after her disappearance, the company issued a statement that there was no cause for concern. They're like, she's fine. Guys, you guys are panicking over nothing. She's fine.
It's not a thing.
She's fine. A week later, a journalist issued a comment from the White Star Line, which boiled down to, they think she's afloat out there somewhere. She's state-of-the-art and watertight. She'll turn up eventually. Yeah.
All right. And spoiler alert, she never did.
Well, I did say she was never seen again, and that is still true today.
Yeah. Well.
So, it was on the 13th of March, where the White Star was like, all right, it's a little weird.
Maybe a little cause for concern.
It's a little weird. There's not a great cause for concern about the ship. Like, don't panic, but we're looking into it. It's fine. We're gonna be fine. So at this point, they were like, okay, we're gonna do our due diligence. We're gonna put a couple of lookouts on some other White Star Line ships. We'll keep an eye out, just in case. You know, like I'm sure she's just fine. She's playing a prank. You know the Neuronic. Like she's a prankster. She is. She's a real prankster. You know what they like.
Classic neurotic.
Classic Neuronic. 15th of March, 2 days later, White Star Line put out this statement. We still hope that it can be safe, but it is unlikely that it will be found because the Atlantic is crisscrossed by steamers and sailboats, and it certainly would have been spotted had she still been afloat.
And so it went from there's no cause to concern to, well, yep, that's just how the cookie crumbles. She's just gone.
That ship's gone.
That is the most from A to Z I have ever seen. They went from A, B, straight to Z.
Yep. Even still, they were not like, we lost a boat. It's more like, guys, don't worry. Like, yeah, we don't know where she is, but she's a cargo ship. So she's got provisions on board that will last her months if she's still out there just floating. So if she's stranded somewhere, like someone's gonna bump into her eventually. They've got supplies out the wazoo. They've got goods for days. They've got chickens out the wazoo. They are going to be fine.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah. So, 19th of March, 1893. 4 days after that lovely, like, we're not sure statement. The British steamer SS Coventry reported seeing 2 of the Neuronic's empty lifeboats 500 miles east of Halifax.
Oh, that's it?
Hold on, I was waiting for the dramatic effect.
Oh, okay. I'm like, just 2 lifeboats? That's it? That's it?
Just 2 lifeboats. They found 2 empty lifeboats 500 miles east of Halifax, which is in Canada, earlier in the month. So sometime in the beginning of March, they found these 2 lifeboats.
Okay.
The first lifeboat was found around 2 a.m. on the 4th of March and had been capsized. The second was found around 2 p.m. the same day and had been washed upon the shore.
Oh, that's so sad.
So this is when this turned into a media frenzy. They were like, okay, so not fine.
Not
is what you're
good.
saying. Not fine.
Based on the evidence, things are the opposite of good.
Yeah, there is not fine. Things are not fine in the 100-acre wood. So several messages in bottles, supposedly written by the passengers aboard the Neuronic, were recovered on both sides of the Atlantic, but they were quickly dismissed as hoaxes and people looking to sell stories, because that's just what we do. When we see a tragedy, we're just like, guys, I have the only evidence of the ship. The most detailed message that went around is as follows. 3:10 a.m., Feb 19, SS Neuronic at sea. To who picks this up, report when you find this to our agents, if not heard before, that our ship is sinking fast beneath the waves. It's such a storm that we can never live on the small boats. 1 boat has already gone with her human cargo below. God let all of us live through this. We were struck by an iceberg in a blinding snowstorm and floated for 2 hours. Now it is 3:20 a.m. by my watch, and the great ship is dead level with the sea. Report to agents at Broadway, New York, New York, M. Kersey and Company. Goodbye, all. John Olson, Cattleman.
Struck by an iceberg.
I'm glad you picked that up. The time as well is also very suspicious. The times that are posted on here. At 3:10 a.m. Just put it in the hat. Put it in the hat. There's a lot of paper in the hat right now, but just keep putting things in there.
Yeah, okay. I got a lot.
But yeah.
My hat's starting to, like, it's an inch off my head at this point with all these papers. It's got a little booster seat.
You know, sometimes that's all you need. But yeah, so that was the most detailed message in a bottle that was found, and it's...
Take it with a grain of salt. It's a message in a bottle.
It's dubious. People are like, well, first of all, like, is it real? Like, if they're in a lifeboat, where are they getting these bottles from?
From all the liquor they're drinking, because they're going down.
I guess, you know. Well, the other thing with this message in a bottle is that there was nobody on board the ship manifest with that name. So there is no John Olson on board the SS Neuronic when it disappeared. The closest name was John O'Hara or John Watson, but there was no John Olson. Other messages had similar problems. They're all signed by names that were not on the ship manifest. So, like, it's possible that they were going by other names and that their legal name was different, but their credibility can't be really agreed on. It's very spooky. If they're real, that's real creepy, but we just can't be sure.
I guess this is where the start of the first conspiracy theory starts.
You know, I would say that the first conspiracy started probably in the first episode, but yes, we're really starting to dig deep now. In the third White Star incident, this is where the internal White Star incidents and conspiracy theories begin.
Man.
So, another theory about the Noronic was that it had been a victim of sabotage. Sabotage. It was actually believed that she had been detonated by onboard explosives.
What? Who? Why?
You know, because where'd ship go? Where'd the ship go?
Where'd ship go?
Where'd ship go?
That's
so the worst type of explosives that were found aboard any White Star Line ship at the time were fireworks. They were the signal flares that people would use to like signal for help. They were not really powerful enough to detonate an entire well-built, top of the line cargo ship. So I mean that theory kind of lost traction quickly, but it still floats around. The Noronic was declared officially missing with 74 lost souls aboard.
Dang.
And with all incidents, now is the time for inquiries. Now we're going to start digging.
Okay.
So the ship had not been insured, despite costing a pretty penny. I mean, she was a cargo ship, If it wasn't like you were losing you are losing life, but you're not losing, a lot of passengers. This is not on the scale of the Atlantic. This is not on the scale of the Taylor.
Hey, yeah, they're cutting costs. They're a luxury cargo ship.
Yes, this is also the only incident where we have 100% fatality rate. Because
the ship's just
the ship's gone. Where's ship go?
Where's ship go?
We've never found the Noronic. The Noronic is still out there. We have no idea where she is. We've never found anything other than those 2 lifeboats. In June 1893, the Board of Trade, those guys again, our lovely boys at the Board of Trade, they convened to help dismiss any ill rumors surrounding the disappearance of the Noronic. Someone claiming to be a brother of the Noronic's mechanic started a rumor that the mechanic had allegedly told his brother that he was concerned about the safety of the ship.
Oh, I don't know.
I just don't know. I just don't know about that one. There was also reports that the Noronic had capsized in a storm due to how unstable she was.
Lots of rumors floating about.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know where boat go. We don't know. So both of these were later dismissed due to the extensive maintenance reports of the Noronic proving that she was in tip-top shape and totally fine. And they even did tests on the Noronic's twin, the Bovik, to see how well she handled storms, which she passed with flying colors. Like, these ships were safe. Harland and Wolff don't make bad ships.
Or so they say.
Or so they say.
They're like, trust us, we checked out our own boats and they're legit.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're reading too far ahead. Then there were reports that the Noronic hit an iceberg. Which, kind of sus.
Kind of sus. Not kind of sus. Like a lot of sus.
It's kind of sus. This was quickly dismissed as well, as the nearest ice field was over 100 miles away. But it is an eerie coincidence nonetheless, and I think we should keep that one in your hat.
Yeah.
Especially for what we learn later about the Titanic.
Yeah, it sounds like a good story. People are like, wow, yeah, people would believe that a ship hit an iceberg? For sure.
Yeah. The iceberg's dangerous. And we'll get into that, but that's for much, much later.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Icebergs are very dangerous.
They are. I can attest. So, of course, we got to talk about the chemical cargo on board, because she had quite a few chemicals on board. It was ruled that, under certain conditions, if these chemicals had somehow been displaced or freed from their containers, they could have caused an explosion.
Okay.
They could have caused an explosion.
Where did this explosion theory come from? People are just like, where boat go?
So where boat go?
Boat must explode.
Can't find boat. But where boat go?
But
boat go boom.
I just don't know.
So the explosion, this particular explosion theory, the one that it came from the chemicals, this was only really explored 100 years later, because once again, we have never found the Noronic. We don't know where she is. We've never found the wreck. We've never found any semblance of where she is. She's just where boat go. We don't know where boat go. So the best conclusion anyone could come up with for the Noronic was just based on the 2 lifeboats that they found and based on the really rough sea test that they did on the Bovik. The Noronic was likely just brought down by a very rapid and very sudden sinking. So she either hit something and went down, or there was a failure in the hull that was massive and it plummeted. But we have no idea to this day. So all in all, the Noronic and her crew were laid to rest. The wreck has never been found, and currently the explosion or being sunk in the storm are the most likely fates. I think I'm putting more faith in the sunk in the storm, but I would definitely agree that there needed to be some sort of great hull compromise, and it might have been a small explosion that helped, but there was definitely something else at play.
Interesting.
So there you go. There's the White Star Line's third incident.
Wow. It's very, like you said, it's kind of understandable, but also just sad that, like, this ship, because just the fact that it's a cargo ship and, like, it's not human lives lost, they're just kind of like, yep, it happened. People are just kind of like, oh, it's fun to speculate about, but no one just really cared.
Yeah, this is probably the least impactful of the incidents, and it's purely because just the loss of life was so much smaller. We're dealing with 74 people, some horses, some chickens, some pigeons. But compared to the Taylor and the Atlantic, those were tremendous loss of life. We're talking about like 2/3 of their basically their crew, just the 2/3 of everyone on board, just dying in a very tragic and very preventable way. But with the Noronic, it's not like we can critique what they did. We can't critique what was happening. We don't know where it went. We don't know where it was going. We have no trace of where it was when it got into the Atlantic. So there's nothing to go off of. So yeah, it is almost like it's less dead because it was just a cargo ship. And I think we're thankful that in the grand scheme of things, at least this wasn't a 900 passenger ship. Yeah. But also, this is the by percentage, this is the most lethal of the White Star Line.
It's true.
Ships with 100% fatality rate.
Yeah, that is just interesting.
Yeah, so something to ponder, something to think about. So, after the Noronic disappearance, and after the construction of 2 more cargo ships to replace him, the White Star Line was like, you know what? I don't think cargo's for us, guys. Like, as fun as it is to transport chickens and pigeons and horses and cows across the Atlantic, it's not very glamorous, and it's just money. It's just very, like, bare bones finances, but, like, where's the luxury? Where's the glamour? Where's the speed records? Where's the prestige of it,
Yeah. We were the fastest in the West before.
We were the fastest in the West, but now the Oceanic class ship is pretty old. It's easily beaten by competitors. Cunard is like, eat my dust, bitch. They were like, we were like sipping salt water from like the rudders, but now you're sipping our salt water.
It's because they've been sleeping it. They took their eye off the ball. They've been focusing on too many things. They've been, instead of, focusing on just one thing and doing it well.
You know what? So by 1885, Cunard had the RMS, oh my God, how do I say this name? Etruria. They had the RMS Etruria.
Okay.
And the RMS Umbria, which were some of the fastest and largest ships at the time. They were like, this is how you do it. White Star Line that we share the post with, this is how you build the fastest and best ship.
But is that all they were doing? Did they have cargo ships?
I don't think Cunard at this point had cargo ships, but I will double check.
Exactly.
Add it in the postmortem. We'll see if they had cargo ships.
I'm just making a point. I'm like, this is how you do it. Cunard figured it out. They're like, you do one thing and you do it the best.
And you know what? Cunard lives by that. They were like, we are the best, and we were going to stay the best. And there's White Star Line standing at the edge of the bow of every ship going, Cunard!
Cunard! But it's true, and they're like, none of our ships have disappeared.
That's not true.
Well...
I'm just not talking about them.
They could say that and everyone would be like, well, we've heard about the other ones.
Well, White Star Line's just like, it's not about you. This is about us right now. We just lost our 3rd ship. And Cunard's just like, let's not talk about our ships that went missing.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about those. So pretty much Cunard was proving that the thing to do was large, fast ships. Lots of passengers, they pay a pretty penny. They get to New York fast. That's where the money's at. So... to retaliate, White Star Line's like, you want us to sip your salt water? No. You're going to sip our salt water. So they decided that it was time to introduce a brand new class of ships. So White Star Line introduced its Teutonic class. Oh my God, these names when I were in my head, they were so easy to say. Now it's just like, I don't know how to say this word. I've never seen this word in my life.
This word, I don't know.
I've never seen this word. And it's worse because they named a ship after this and I have to keep saying it. So the White Star Line introduced its Teutonic class of ships. So these were twin sisters, the RMS Teutonic and the RMS Majestic.
Ooh, okay.
Right, now we're getting real spicy. These ones, real good.
Yeah.
So Ismay actually broke the bank a little bit with this one, and he actually took money from the British government to make sure that these two monstrosities of boats actually were manufactured.
Oh.
Which, of course, came with some conditions. If you're going to borrow money from the British government to make a passenger ship, it's gonna require a deal.
Yeah, you're like your soul.
Yes, it's the curse. Well, we'll get there. So, the Teutonic class of ships would not just be passenger liners, but they would also be armed merchant ships. All this meant was that in case of war, which, currently we are not but in case of war, these twin ships would be enlisted and they would be pulled into service.
Okay.
So these two were about 565 feet long, or 172 meters long, which would make them about 100 feet longer than their last class of ships, so we're getting bigger boys.
Wow.
They were 57 feet wide, or 17 meters wide, and they could hold only 1,500 passengers, so they're stagnating right now. The ships are getting bigger, but the passengers are staying about the same. Their top speed, however, was 19 knots, which was record-breaking.
That is so fast.
They're so fast. That's about 22 miles per hour or 25 kilometers an hour. And people were like, that's a fast ship.
That's moving so fast.
That's a fast ship. That's a real fast ship.
Wow.
So, the Teutonic class of ships were actually the first ships in the White Star Line to have 3 classes of passengers. Not just the 2, but they added a whole extra class.
Ooh, fancy.
So, I know, they're getting real swank. So, the Teutonic classes could hold 300 first-class passengers, 190 in second class, which was the brand new class.
Wow.
A second class.
Wow.
And then they could hold 1,000 in their steerage or third class. Of course, accommodation was placed strategically on the ship because we didn't want to mingle. You don't want first class mingling with the steerage. That's just terrible. We don't want that. Of course, yeah. So the more prestigious you were, if you were in first class or second class, you got less motion. So you were put more central to the boat. There was less rocking. There was also less noise. So you were away from the engines. You were away from the rudders. You would be less disturbed by, the mechanical sounds. And you would just be like, I'm just cruising. I'm having a great time as I head to New York/Liverpool. And of course, as we have already established, the Teutonic class were speed demons. They were so freaking fast. Unfortunately, these are also the White Star Line's last speed demons. This is pretty much where they peaked in terms of speed.
Okay.
Not that these were the fastest ships they ever made, but every other ship after this, the White Star Line never took the record. So they did get faster, they just weren't. They were never the lead in speed after this. So the Majestic beat the westbound record, the speed record, on the 5th of August, 1891. And the Teutonic beat that record on the 19th of August the same year.
Wow.
So they were little award winners. These were our little showboats.
Wow.
Yes. So with the Teutonic class proving that it was basically just chef's kiss, it was the Oceanic of its time. And they're like, well, now that we've got a new Oceanic class, we've got the Teutonic class, we can kind of get rid of the old class because they're old. They're getting a little worn. People are not taking care of these boats.
Yeah.
So they decided that they were going to start skimming out the rest of the Oceanic class, including the Baltic and Republic.
Okay.
So this was the beginning of good things for the White Star Line. They are living their best life. They have these 2 beautiful boats. They were like, guys, I've decided speed isn't everything. Now that we are the speed record holders of the ocean, of the Atlantic, we've decided that we don't want to do speed anymore. Speed is not us. That's not part of our mission. And they made a very dramatic turn in their company policies. So they decided, we're never going to get better than this. We're the fastest right now. We're the fastest right now. But, who's chasing records these days? It's not about records. It's about being the best in every other capacity.
Fair.
Not only are we the fastest, but we are better at everything else.
Okay.
So they basically announced that being fast wasn't all that there was to it. They didn't want to be the fastest because that's, it comes and goes. There's always going to be a faster ship.
Yeah.
But they wanted to prove that they were always going to be the fanciest and most luxurious.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. So this is the point now where White Star Line's like, we're not going for the speed records. We're instead going to just prove that we can hold the most passengers. We can give you the best ride of your life. We're going to be top line, prioritize the first class. Even our steerage class is going to be treated like royalty. We are building decadent boats, not fast ones.
But safety is our least priority.
Safety is our top priority, except when it's not.
Except for when it's not. Safety doesn't need to be our top priority because you're just going to be safe. It's going to be fine. There's no need to worry about it.
We're not going fast anymore, so like, what are we going to slam into? It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Speed's not everything, guys. Is that what Cunard said? I bet that's what Cunard said.
Sounds like
speed
Cunard.
is everything. That sounds like a Cunard problem.
Yeah.
All right, so this decision to be the fanciest of the fanciest on the ships, it was highlighted in 1897 when the White Star Line unveiled their brand new ship, the third of the Teutonic class, the Cymric.
What?
So, the Cymric.
Cymric, okay.
The Cymric. I hope that's how you say it. Otherwise, it's the Kimric, and I don't believe that. I don't believe in the Kimric. I believe it's the Cymric.
All right.
So the Cymric was originally designed to be a cargo ship, but during construction, they were like, we don't like cargo ships anymore. It's all about being the best, it's the luxurious. Cows, not luxurious. That's not where the money's at. That's not luxury. That's farmyard. We're not about that. So they decided instead of all that cargo space that we're wasting, we're just gonna fill it full of cabins. We can put so many passengers in this bad boy, and they slapped the hull.
So many passengers in this bad boy.
So many passengers in that bad boy. So they could actually fit inside just the storage space of this cargo ship. They could fit 1,160 passengers just for steerage. So they were like, let's put all the third class in that cargo hold, give the rest of the space to the first class. We are good.
Wow.
So.
All right. That's a plan.
So, as I keep reiterating, like with these new classes of ships, this Teutonic, it's all about. It's something about. Things are happening. It's less about just getting you to your destination quickly. It's all about doing the journey in style.
Yeah.
So it's that lifelong philosophy. It's not about the destination. It's the journey. It's the friends we made along the way, and your friends at White Star Line are here to provide you the best service they can provide.
I want to go.
You know,
I almost forgot that three ships, had tragic endings.
Yeah, and aside from the 3 ships that have completely been wiped off the face of the planet, aside from that, White Star Line's doing real good.
Real good.
So, by 1897, the only remaining oceanic class is the Adriatic. And at that point, the Adriatic has been in service for about 25 years. She was considered elderly. So, Ismay and the boys at Harland and Wolff began plans for 2 new super ships, and these were going to blow even the Teutonic class out of the water. They were just going to be like, guys, you ain't seen nothing yet. They're not fast, but boy, are they luxurious.
They're so sparkly.
They are so sparkly. You can see your reflection in the hull and the water at the same time. It's like a hall of mirrors.
Whew.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's class.
Oh, yes. So, the next 2 ships that they decided to build were the Oceanic and the Olympic. That's right, we're building the Oceanic 2 electric boogaloo.
I was like, is that a misprint? What?
Yeah, so I guess my only guess is that Ismay really liked the name Oceanic. He's like, I feel really bad that we got rid of all the Oceanics. Like, can we just bring one back as a nod? We're gonna bring one back as a nod.
It's a good name for a ship, so I mean, like, the fact that it was not an Oceanic, like, it's kind of not doing it service.
Yeah, like, what's more synonymous with White Star Line than the Oceanic? Like, we gotta bring it back.
Yeah.
And also, this Oceanic was legally distinct. So, the original Oceanic was the SS Oceanic, but this brand new ship was the RMS Oceanic. So she was a Royal Mail ship, and she was swanky.
Wow, and she was so shiny.
She was so shiny. So, almost immediately, this is where the problems arose. So, into her construction, Oceanic was having some severe problems. A ship of her size had never been built before. There were not shipyards designed to build ships this size. They did not have the yard space for this. They actually had to merge 2 yards together to be able to build this thing.
That's ridiculous.
She is insane how big this ship was. They also needed better tools to build her because bog standard rivet guns, like the size of this thing is ridiculous. So they pulled together. They were like, we're gonna figure out how to build this ship or die trying.
And die trying they did.
And I'm just gonna put that
Sorry,
one in
I'll
the
stop
hat.
reading ahead. Oh,
Yes, let's put that one in your hat, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
Stop looking ahead. We'll get there. So, because she was so large and just trying to figure out how to maneuver such a large ship, it caused a lot of delays. So her launch day was on the 14th of January, 1899. Now, keep in mind, she was like ordered around 1897. So this is 2 years in the making to make this massive fucking ship.
Yeah, it's humongy.
It's humongous. And of course, people were like, we've never seen a ship this size. So it drew her launch drew a crowd of 50,000 people just to have to look at her.
Yeah, I'm sure people are like, there's no way that thing is going to sit on the water. Something that big cannot float.
Shit, that is not a boat, that is a monster.
But yeah, no, like you said, that's an inverted tub. How is it going to float? No way.
What kind of boat is this? So, the Oceanic II Electric Boogaloo, RMS Oceanic, was, as we said, legally distinct. She was also like 300 feet longer than her predecessor.
Okay.
She came in at a whopping 704 feet.
Jesus.
She was not fucking around. That's 215 meters, if for those who want meters. She was 68 feet wide. So, her top speed was also 19 knots, so same as the Titanic class, 22 miles per hour, or 35 kilometers an hour, and she could hold just over 1,700 passengers. So now we're starting to get a little higher in the passenger count.
Jeez.
The size is accommodating for all of those large staterooms. That's luxury we are providing.
That's luxury.
So she could hold about 410 first-class passengers, 300 second class, and about 1,000 in the third class.
Wow.
That's kind of the staple. You know, you carry about 1,000 people in the steerage class. So her maiden voyage was on the 6th of September, 1899. She was, as is standard, she was going from Liverpool to New York.
Is that like the maiden voyage? Like,
well, the headquarters for the White Star Line is in Liverpool, so all the ships are built in Belfast, which is in North Ireland. Then they're launched. They do their sea trials. When they're approved, they get shipped off to Liverpool, where they're put on display. They're so pretty. Then they're loaded up, and then it makes more sense to do the maiden voyage from Liverpool to New York rather than from New York to Liverpool.
That makes sense.
Just where she's built.
That's just where she's built.
That's just where she built. That's where the boat is. So, she arrived in the morning of the 13th, too much fanfare. There was lots of confetti, there was lots of, like, jazz hands. You know, everyone was just having the best time. And this was a huge victory for White Star Line. They were like, we've had really successful launches. The Titanic class is doing it. The new Oceanic is, like, fucking doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
And Olympic's right behind her. As most things are, this story is tinged with a little bit of sadness, though. Because it's the White Star Line, and all good things must have a horrible, horrible twist to them.
I was waiting for it.
Yes, but this is not a boat tragedy, and thankfully, or not thankfully. This is actually to do with our boy Ismay, the guy who I would say took the White Star Line and turned it into a phoenix rather than a flapping duck.
Ooh.
So Thomas Ismay, our boy, owner of the White Star Line, and basically the salvageur of taking it from the tailor all the way to now, he started complaining about pains in his chest just a few weeks after Oceanic's maiden voyage.
Oh, no.
His health deteriorated almost immediately, and it actually scared both White Star Line and Harlan Wolf so bad they actually they completely scrapped the concept for the Olympic. They were like, fuck the Olympic, like, we gotta worry about Ismay, like, we cannot stress this man out, like, we cannot do that to him.
Yeah.
So Oceanics unfortunately lost her twin sister, but I don't think we've seen the last of her just yet. We're just gonna hold on to the name of the Olympic for a little while. She's gonna go into reserve.
Add it to that pile under your hat.
Yeah, she's just her blueprints are on the wall, and everyone's gonna be like, one day we'll build the Olympic, but not right now. So Ismay's health improved a little now that all of his maiden voyages and all of his, horrible incidents where ships are disappearing have kind of calmed down a little bit. He was able to see the Oceanic when she was launched. He was also awarded the key to the city for his contributions to the local economy. They were like, wow. Really, really help save all these people, all these working class. Thank you so much, Ismay.
Wow.
In August 1899, Ismay took a tailspin. He underwent 2 operations in a desperate attempt to cure him. But on September 14th, 1899, Thomas Ismay suffered a severe heart attack.
Oh, no.
He remained in agony for another 10 weeks.
Oh, my gosh.
On November 23rd, 1899, Thomas Ismay passed away at the age of 62.
Gosh, that's a long time to suffer. That really, really stinks.
Yeah, and that's a 30-year very successful career with the White Star Line and the National Line. Like this man, he basically saved the White Star Line. He was like, this is my pride and joy. I'm really proud of this. He saw the potential. I was like, I'm going to raise this thing. It's going to be incredible. It's going to show Cunard what for. And then, he had a very slow and very painful death, which is very sad. So, his son, J. Bruce Ismay, immediately took over the company. Welcome in, baby Ismay.
Oh, gosh. I can't tell if this is going to be good or bad.
Well, good news for White Star Line. Baby Ismay had been watching his father run the shipping company for a very long time. So basically, since, he was a kid to a teenager to a young adult, he had been right by next to his father. He'd been learning the tricks of trade. He'd been a Nepo baby. He was like, pretty much, I'm guaranteed this company when I grow older.
Man.
So he was being groomed for this. So it was sad that it happened at the time that it did. I don't think he was expecting to take over so soon, but he was trained to take over.
Yeah, okay.
He was also really good friends with Harlan de Wolf, as well as the managers of Ismay, Imbri, and Co. So, everyone knew who he was. Everyone was like, oh, who's this kid who's taking over the company? We don't trust him. It's more like, all right, one Ismay to another. You got this, kid. Everyone was kind of there to support him in this takeover.
Gotcha. Well, that's good at least.
Yes. So before his passing, Papa Ismay, our rest in peace Papa Ismay, he kind of already started, putting into motion the next big thing. He was always he's a big dreamer. He's thinking about the future. Everything was kind of put on hold when his health deteriorated, but there was already things coming down the pipe for the next big thing, which in this case was the RMS Celtic, or Celtic II Electric Boogaloo, because we've already had one.
Oh.
I guess Ismays, just the Ismays in general, they really liked the names from the Oceanic class. They were like, we used all our best names, so now that we've gotten rid of them, they're all the SSs, we're just going to put them in the RMSs. We're like, we're good.
That's fair. Recycle.
They're good names. Let's not put them away.
No.
So, the Celtic was designed for luxury, not speed, as is now the White Star Line standard. Because she was not designed for speed, she could also be a lot more fuel economic because, they're not trying to speed at 1,000,000 miles an hour through the North Atlantic. They can just be efficient. They can just tootle along at their top speed, which, is kind of sitting pretty at 90 knots. It's not taking that much coal. These engines are getting better. They're able to get further with less coal. We're saving money. We're saving money on the refuel.
Man, you love to see that.
Yeah. So the Celtic was way more efficient than both the Teutonic and the Oceanic. So both of them required 400 tons to do the crossing, whereas the Celtic only required 260. She could also hold much more cargo. So even though she wasn't designed as a cargo ship, she had much more space to just hold things. So, quite handy.
Yeah, absolutely. We love our stuff.
We love our stuff. That's that's passenger equipment. That's mail. That's everything. That's all the stuff we need in New York. Not only that, but she took the passenger count to the next extreme, and she could hold 2,859 passengers.
Okay.
That's astounding at the time. This is we have never seen anything like this. Ships do not hold that many people.
Man, I am so scared for all of those people.
Yes, well, I don't think we have to worry about the Celtic too much. She's okay.
Gosh.
Spoiler alert, she's fine.
Oh,
Celtic is one of the good ones. We're okay.
Okay. Cool.
So the other thing that set her apart wasn't necessarily just the luxuries for upper class and second class, but it was actually the luxuries afforded to the third class. And this was very uncommon. A lot of these other these other liners, including Cunard, they didn't really care about the third class. They were just shove 1,000 people in the cargo hold. We're gonna make it really decadent for first class and second class. And they're the ones that are one of their tickets pays for 25 of their tickets. So
wow.
We need to afford these ones. White Star Line was making the difference. They were we treat our third-class passengers with respect, and they also get a decent-sized room.
Wow.
Which was very uncommon.
Yeah. No, that's very, like you said, very different and very bold of them in a time where it doesn't really seem like anyone was honoring those consumers that way.
No, it 100% was not the case, and it kind of set White Star Line apart because steerage, that's the most people that's coming through. That's the most standard ticket, even on the luxury liners. And so now that they can sell these 1,000 tickets reliably, they're not having, not every cruise ship is the same. So I keep saying cruise ship, they're ocean liners.
Well, they were trying to make them into cruise ships. They were the first cruise ships, basically.
These are the prototypes for cruise ships, but these ocean liners, they were designed to just transport people. And if they could, and they were all about the same fare. You pay, $25, you got a ticket, you could go on a boat, you didn't really get a view, you didn't see the ocean, you just sort of heard the waves hit the hull, and then you were in New York.
Yeah, that's it. They were cruising. It was a cruise ship.
Yeah, you just got there, and like it wasn't about the journey, and it was more about the destination for third class, whereas for first and second class, it was about the journey and not about the destination.
Yeah.
White Star Line made it so that third class could enjoy some luxuries too. So they had larger staterooms. They actually had better common rooms that you could enjoy. The quality of dining that they offered was better. So,
cool.
it's the little things, these little luxuries that set them apart. And that's why people tended to choose White Star Line over Cunard or any of the other lines that were going. So I bet they were sitting there going, take that, Cunard!
I mean, yeah, like you said, that making it to where like every ship that they send doesn't have a full roster of passengers. Like that's, I mean, like a huge hit to their profits. And like you said, these ships are going fast, burning a lot of fuel. And if they don't have a full like ship, I mean, it's not worth it sometimes to make these trips.
No, 100%. And like every empty ticket, every empty steerage ticket, like they add up. So
yeah,
White Star Line was consistently filling their 1,000 steerage because it was just a better way to travel. And first class and second class, they were separated from third class, so they didn't really interact. So they were having their own little private voyage on the same boat. It was very economical. So the Celtic was launched in April 1901. So we're now in the right century. We're now in the 1900s, baby. So 4 months after that, it was her maiden voyage. So as is standard, she was going from Liverpool to New York.
Okay.
Maiden voyage was scheduled on the 26th of July. Very good day, a very good day. Following the Celtic, they built the Cedric, which was on the 11th of February, and the Baltic, which we've seen before. We like those oceanic names. And that was in 1904. They made their debuts into high society, and they were just as successful. It was like, bam! White Star Line, they cannot be stopped. Take that, Cunard.
Take that.
After a very short delay, right after the three of them, the fourth one was set, which is the Adriatic, which is we've seen before, and that was released in May 1907. These ships were good. These were worth the wait. They were luxurious. They were the best in their class. They were huge. They were the largest liners the world had ever seen. The Adriatic, for the very, very small time, was the largest British ship ever built.
Oh.
So these four were these were the crowning jewel of the White Star Line, and these four liners were quickly dubbed the Big Four.
Ooh, the Big Four.
The Big Four. These ones were chef's kiss. Now that said, Baby Ismay and the White Star Line were not doing the best financially.
Okay.
They had spent a lot of money to make these ships, and as reliable and as good as White Star Line is, there is still a heavy amount of competition. Cunard is trying to match White Star Line beat for beat. They're also making really, really good ships. They're still the fastest. And so speed versus luxury, people, it's a big toss-up what people will choose, especially if you're traveling steerage. Some people will just prefer to go faster rather than go in style.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Big Four and all the delays that the Big Four caused put quite a damper on the coffers. And they actually purchased a bunch of smaller ships just to help make ends meet with the much smaller, less lucrative lines. So, we just have a boat in the water, fill it with people, try and get it across. We just need to make profit.
Wow. Making people desperate.
No, that's the White Star guarantee.
That's the White Star guarantee. That's so sad.
Yeah. So, White Star Line, Baby Ismay, financially not doing so hot. The White Star Line at this time as well is not one of the big players in the North Atlantic, right? They're competitive and they're fighting Cunard, tooth and nail, but they're not the leading ones yet. That also means that there are much larger, much more hungry other ship lines that are looking for a sweet, sweet piece of White Star pie. So, in 1902, while the Big Four are being built, Baby Ismay succumbed to buyout pressure from a company called the International Mercantile Marine Corporation, or the IMM for short.
Baby Ismay, how could you do it?
I know, his father's dying wish, never sell the company. Ever.
Man.
And then a couple of years later, here he is selling the company.
It's just like, Dad, sorry.
The IMM was owned by the illustrious American banker, J.P. Morgan.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So J.P. Morgan is now the owner of the White Star Line.
Wow.
So J.P. Morgan's goal was very, very simple.
Yeah.
Complete and total monopoly of the North Atlantic trade route.
Okay.
I mean, I enjoy this man's ambition.
Yeah, I'm just shocked. I didn't expect them to become players in this race.
Oh, yeah, no, JP Morgan's a huge player in this race.
That's interesting. Okay. Are they a villain?
We're not there yet.
I don't know.
Hold your horses, and horses hold your breath. We're not there yet.
Horses hold your breath.
It's from Chicken Little. Remember that movie?
Yes.
There's like the baseball scene where they're like playing baseball, and there's like, everyone hold your horses, and horses hold your breath.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
It's one of the lines that stuck with me with that movie. That movie's wild.
It is. It's a fever dream of a movie.
Anyway. So JP Morgan acquires White Star Line, brand new owner. And he's like, man, I got these big four, the Titanic class ships. I got this amazing Celtic ship. Like, guys, I am winning. And this North Atlantic trade route is mine.
I'm taking it.
Yeah. So JP Morgan offered shareholders 10 times the value of profits in 1900, which was like real good year.
Yeah.
So basically the shareholders were like, man, just sell the company to this guy. He's got money.
Yeah.
He got money. Baby Ismay was like, this is my dad's company. He passed it on to me. I really want to make him proud. And JP Morgan's like, no, sweat it, Baby Ismay. Don't even sweat it, because you can stay as the president of the company. I'm just the owner. This is still yours. It's still your dad's company. It's all good. We're all good, boo. So Baby Ismay stayed in power.
Yeah.
Ismay Imre and Company, which was the original parent company, were not really happy with this choice. They were like, why are we selling our White Star Line to a random American banker? Because this is a British company. Remember, they're all British.
Yeah.
So they were not happy, and actually 5 directors of Ismay Imre and Company left. They were just like, I'm outie. Can't be doing this.
Not working with those Americans.
You are not making Papa Ismay proud, Baby Ismay. And that was like, not great. Not great.
No, he's rolling over in his grave, man.
Papa Ismay would be frowning upon you, Baby Ismay. Baby Ismay, though, he's like, I know this is a deal my dad would never take, but what choice do I have? The company is in financial ruin. I've been banking these big four. It's what my dad wanted. I don't know what to do.
Baby Ismay.
So, JP Morgan acquires White Star Line. Baby Ismay, remaining as president of the company, was soon joined by William James Peary, and he was the newest director of Harland & Wolff. So he took over from the Gustavs.
The Gustavs.
The Gustavs. So he is now the new running director of Harland & Wolff. And the two, along with a longtime friend of Baby Ismay, a guy named Harold Sanderson, they became 3 of the brand new 13 directors of the IMM. So not only did Baby Ismay get to keep White Star Line as the president, he was also brought on as a director for the IMM. So he actually had a stake in overall choices made from the parent company. So pretty good.
That's very nice for him. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it was just kind of like under new management, but the menu's still the same.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
So there you go. So that happened. Unfortunately, all this buying out of the White Star Line left the IMM a little tight on the purse strings. They spent a lot of money buying out their shareholders. They spent a lot of money finishing the Big Four. It's time to make some money. Time to take over that transatlantic route, because time's a ticking and money's a wasted.
Yeah.
So the old president of IMM was swiftly replaced by Baby Ismay on the condition that he did all he could to get IMM back on his feet, since, he knew the White Star Line so well.
Yeah.
So now with the Big Four complete, White Star Line is ready to take over the transatlantic route.
Let's go.
Yes. On top of that, they also profited off a deal with 4 completely brand new ships in addition to the Big Four. So they acquired a ship called the Columbus, the Commonwealth, the New England, and the Mayflower.
Wow.
Think of it like the adoption dog thing. Previously named ships brought into the White Star Line.
Yeah.
The ships had originally been owned by the Dominion Line for their Liverpool-Boston route. Technically a transatlantic, but, not technically a competitor of the Liverpool-New York. But the Dominion was also absorbed by the IMM, and they did not have as good a lawyers as Baby Ismay. So they were just like, you're right now. And they were just taken.
They just absorbed.
They were absorbed. And by proxy, that meant that all of their ships belonged to the White Star Line.
Wow. They're just gulping up all of the, like you said, big fish, small fish, taking them all.
That's it. That was the way it is. If you were a bigger company, you ate the smaller ones. The smaller ones had very little chance. Unless you knew people, unless you were backed by very influential people, there was no way to get into this business. It was cutthroat. So, the White Star Line now has these 4 ships on top of their brand new Big 4. And these are brand new ships, too. These are like just come off the presses, like real nice ships.
Yeah.
However, their names don't quite fit with the whole White Star Line. And IMM's like, no problem, we'll pay for the renaming. Just rename them so that everyone knows that those are White Star Line ships. So, they were quickly renamed to the RMS Republic, the SS Cretic, the SS Romantic, and the SS Canopic.
I love the Romantic. That's very cute.
the SS Romantic. She's a very sweet ship.
It's so cute.
And don't get me wrong, these are really, really, really nice ships. Like, they weren't like Big 4 nice. They weren't like cutting edge, top of the line, luxurious like you are in paradise. You're on a floating cloud across the Atlantic nice. But they were nice. And the RMS Republic, which was the nicest of the 4 that they acquired, would later get the nickname the Millionaire Ship because she was nice.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
She was nice.
I want to be on that boat.
I don't know if you want to be on this boat.
I don't want to be on that boat.
I don't know if you want to be on this boat.
Never mind. I forgot what story we were telling.
Yeah,
I got so swept up in the luxury of it all.
I know. That's how the White Star gets you. They're just like, we've got some pretty bad track records, but also look at this nice ship.
Man, they get you so good. They have this curse that's following them, and you just forget about it because of all the sparkles.
That's part of the curse.
Man, do they still have jugglers at this point?
They do still have jugglers.
Sold.
They have at least 2.
At least 2.
And they're just rotating on the ships. So, RMS Republic. She had the capacity for 2,400 passengers. So, real nice.
Yeah.
So she could hold 200 first-class passengers, 200 second-class passengers, and 2,000 steerage or third-class passengers.
Jeez, and if they're selling every single one of those tickets, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. They have 8 ships that are selling a lot of tickets. That's a lot of money. So the top speed of the RMS Republic was 16 knots, which was not anything to write home about, but it's decent. It's gonna cover the Atlantic at a decent pace. She was still a competitive ship.
Yeah.
She was about 570 feet long, so not as big as the Big 4, quite literally.
Yeah.
That's 173 meters, and 67 feet wide, which is about 20 meters. So, after the 4 new ships were completely retrofitted with White Star funnels and regalia and names, and just basically looked like a White Star ship, all 4 were entered service between the 19th of November 1903 and the 1st of December 1903.
Wow.
So
that was
we
fast.
got 8 brand new ships on the ocean, baby. So, 1907, about the time of completion for the last of the Big 4, the Adriatic, the pride and joy, the biggest of the Big 4.
Ooh.
The White Star Line had moved their express services from Liverpool to Southampton. So they were like, we're no longer leaving from Liverpool to New York. We are now a Southampton-only company, BB. That's where the money's at.
All right.
So
again, they're focusing on the one thing, and that's you got to do that one thing good.
They're doing that damn thing good. They're acquiring a bunch of ships from Harland and Wolff. They're acquiring a bunch of ships from these smaller absorption rates, and they're making the money. So, Southampton came with a couple of perks, which is why they made the move in the first place. This new departure port would allow the White Star Line to now stop in France. So they would specifically stop in Cherbourg, France, which was just across the way, and it would allow them to take on additional passengers.
Ooh.
With Liverpool, you were just dumped into the Atlantic Ocean and you just crossed. With Southampton, you had a couple of stops before you started making the journey. So there was now even more market. There were even more potential passengers that you could sell tickets to.
That's amazing.
So the Titanic and the Majestic, the Oceanic and the Adriatic were pioneers of this route. They were immediately sent to Southampton for the across the ocean. Amazing. They were older and they were a little bit slower, but they were able to hold the sheer amount of passengers. And this was basically how White Star Line broke into this route. They were just like, look, guys, we're doing it. Here are the reliable ships. These are incredible. They could hold so many passengers. Easy. We are the line to choose. Choose us. And Cunard was like, no. Let us unveil our pride and joy.
Ooh.
And now this one was a scary one. So, around this time, when White Star Line moved to Southampton, Cunard unveiled the RMS Lusitania.
Oh, the Lusitania?
Do you know the Lusitania?
No, but I sounded like I did.
No, you did, but it's also Lusitania is a very famous ship, and not necessarily in a good way. I was just curious if you knew the story of the Lusitania. We'll cover the Lusitania properly. She was a problem. Not for Cunard. She was incredible for Cunard. She was a problem for the White Star Line. She was a fucking threat, let me tell you.
Oh, jeez. She came with a knife.
She did. The Lusitania was born with a knife and she kept slashing. She just kept slashing. So, you may or may not be familiar with the story of the Lusitania. She's actually has a lot of her own spooky history, which we're going to cover a bit later when we get there. But all you need to know right now is that she was fucking spectacular. Like, she was chef's kiss. She was state of the art. She was a whopping 787 feet long, or 240 meters. She put the Big Four to shame.
Yeah, she was a big girl, beautiful girl.
She was huge, and she set the standard for a long, long time. So she was 88 feet wide, or 27 meters wide. She was about 31,550 gross tons. She's a big girl.
Man, you call them gross tons, I call them beautiful tons.
Every inch of her was beautiful. There was not a bad thing about her. She destroyed the Adriatic's record of being the largest British ship ever built. The Adriatic was announced, they were like, look at our beautiful ship, and the Lusitania was like, oh, is that all?
Yeah.
That's so cute. You're so cute.
Man, I love that they kept it a secret too, and so they were just like, man, they just don't even see this coming. We got these big four ships, and they're just like, yeah, but look at this one, and then there's just this giant dun dun dun.
It's not just the one, but hold on, let me get there.
Oh God,
let me get there. So the Lusitania, her top speed was 25 knots.
Oh my gosh, breaking records, babe.
She was unmatched. She was so fast.
Jeez.
And she was fancy. Not only was she the fastest ship and the largest ship, she was the fanciest ship. And that's what White Star Line does. They do fancy ships, not fast ships anymore. Cunard was like, hold my beer, we can do all three, baby. We don't have to compromise.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's my favorite now.
Yes, Lusitania.
My loyalty is very easily bought.
Lusitania put White Star Line to shame. When they unveiled Lusitania, they were just like, what the fuck are we supposed to do about this? The extra kicker was that the Lusitania had a twin sister who was just as good.
Oh my God.
So
they're never going to financially recover from this.
They are never going to financially recover from this. The Lusitania and her twin sister, the Mauretania, were announced, and just like the Big Four, she was an approved wartime vessel. So she was funded by government money. She was fast. She was luxurious. She was big. She was beautiful. She was unstoppable.
Man, the only winner here is the British government.
Pretty much. They were just like, look at all this money we're going to make. Let's hope there's no wars, because, what are we going to do with all these cruise ships?
Literally. our sailors will be super happy. But we are going to lose. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So, this monster of a ship basically had the entire group of IMM and White Star Line just sitting in a circle going, what the fuck do we do about this? And Baby Ismay was like, guys, don't worry. My dad saw this coming. It's time to dust off those blueprints we've had sitting aside for ages. It's time to open up that drawing desk. It's time to bring those old drawings out and make them better. We've already got the groundwork. We just got to make her better.
Wow.
And it was finally time to announce the Olympic-class liner.
I love the fire that little Baby Esme finally has now. He's just like, you know what? No, my dad would not stand for that. He would come guns blazing, and that's what I'm going to do.
Baby Esme is like, I will not let Cunard win. I will not let them win.
And just like his father, he stood at the front of the ship and said, oh, Cunard!
Yeah, Cunard! So he's standing at Harland de Wolf. He's looking at these documents, and he's like, oh, so Cunard wants to announce these two twin ships that are just the best at everything, and they're just so cool. We're going to make three. We're going to make three that are better. So not only will we be better than them both by, we'll match them, stroke for stroke, we're going to have an extra one. And, they're just not going to be able to keep up with us.
Jeez. Man, he said, hold my beer.
He pretty much said, hold my beer. He was like, Cunard's never going to see this coming. We're going to build the three largest and most luxurious, but not the fastest, because that's not the White Star way. We're not going to be the fastest. But we're going to build larger and better ships than Cunard could ever dream about. Fuck the Lusitania. Fuck the Mauretania.
We're gonna have 3 ships.
We're gonna have 3 ships, baby. We're gonna build the Olympic class. Let's go. Dust off the Olympic. Get our sisters out there. She's gonna be so much better. And of course, you know, when White Star Line is motivated and is feeling really good about themselves, it's time for another tragedy.
Of course.
Yes, it's time. So
it's time, baby. Tragedy number. What a tragedy are we on number?
This is tragedy
4?
number 4.
Okay.
This is number 4. January 23rd, 1909.
Ooh.
The RMS Republic, the ship that you wanted to sit on, that was like the millionaire ship, the one that you really liked. That one, we're back there.
Oh no.
She was sailing one of the Mediterranean routes from New York to Gibraltar.
Okay.
So on board were only 742 passengers, which was very under capacity for what she could hold,
Oh wow.
as well as 300 crew. So she could hold about 2,800 people. She only had about 1,000 people on board. That said, the Republic had quite the illustrious guest list on board, including the Mellon banking family, wife of the treasurer of the International Silver Company, a bunch of professors, some generals, a couple of millionaires, a historian, and a countess. You know, just to round everything out.
Jesus. So they were under. What's the word?
Under capacity.
I want to say understaffed, and I'm like, well, they're not staffed.
They're punching under their supposed capacity, but
But the capacity they do have is freaking stocked.
They were like, we want a private cruise around the Mediterranean. Por favor, please, no steerage. Thank you so much.
Man, I was about to say, well, at least, like you said, like at least they were like under capacity, and like that makes it like less tragic. But I know for like the sake of just having so many like important people, like that really is something. Okay.
Yes.
All right. More of a bummer.
More of a bummer. Let's go. Doo-doo-doo. They also had one of the first class passengers, a guy named Leonard McMurray. He would survive what was about to happen, and then decide that he was going to travel again on a different ship, and then that ship crashed and survived that one. So I'm beginning to think it might be this guy.
Look at Leonard.
Leonard Cunard.
Cunard. Was it Leonard Cunard?
Mr. Leonard Cunard. No.
That was his secret name. He was
Leonard Cunard McMurray.
He was the one sabotaging all the white ships, man.
Just saying. That's the conspiracy theory. It's just one guy on every single ship throughout about 200 years of history.
That's my conspiracy theory, and I'm sticking to it.
I think you should. So, in charge of the RMS Republic was the Captain Inmay Sealby, and they had just left New York, so they were on their way to the Mediterranean. They're like, we gotta get across the Atlantic, then we're in the Mediterranean. It's gonna be so warm, it's gonna be so luscious, we've only got 1,000 passengers, it's gonna be beautiful. So the RMS Republic was just off the coast of Nantucket when a heavy fog rolled in. Low visibility, not great. It seems to be a trend. Just putting it out there.
I just think we shouldn't, sail in foggy weather. Maybe just pull over.
We got deadlines, baby. We got deadlines. We can't. We gotta stop for every batch of fog. No, we gotta sail through.
God.
Now, in the Republic's defense, they did everything right. So, they maintained a steady speed. They held her route, and they regularly signaled that they were there with whistles. They were like, I'm here. Don't smack into me. Guys, Republic coming through. Don't hit me, please. I'm here. In that order.
It's the best they can do, yeah.
Yeah, that's a quote.
Don't hit me.
Don't hit me. So, at 5:47 a.m., another whistle cut through the fog very suddenly. They were like, we're here, don't hit us. And the Republic immediately ordered a reverse and tried to make a hard left. They were like, something's there. It's just signaled. We're going to turn. Out of the fog, another ship just comes steaming into the Republic, and it's the SS Florida.
No!
Fucking Florida!
Oh my gosh, Florida man strikes again.
Florida man. So out of the fog, the SS Florida, which was owned by an Italian company, the Lloyd Italiano line specifically.
That's interesting.
Just fucking cut through the fog, and it was too late for either ship. They were just like, oh, there's a ship. Oh, now we are all one ship.
Dang.
So the SS Florida rammed the Republic's port side, which is the left side, for those who can't speak ship, at a very severe right angle.
Wow, that's terrifying and probably devastating, and I feel like both ships are going down.
Well, so immediately, 2 passengers who were asleep in their cabins were immediately killed when the Florida smacked through the hull.
Jeez.
Another passenger would die of their injuries caused by the initial collision 3 days later. So they were not killed, but they were very badly crushed, and then they would eventually die of their wounds.
God. I don't know what's worse, to be honest with you. That sounds pretty horrific either way.
I think I would rather die in
RIP.
my sleep by a boat than die in a hospital 3 days later from boat.
Yeah.
That would be my choice.
Either way, scared of boat death.
Yeah, boat death's not great. We're not big fans of boat death over here.
No. Okay.
So that was the initial fatalities on the Republic. On board the Florida, 3 crew members were crushed by the initial collision. So they were actually at the point of collision. They were crushed.
Gosh.
So the engine and boiler rooms of the Republic immediately began to flood, and the ship slowly begins to lean to the side as it takes on water. It's kind of what boats are designed to do.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the Republic was equipped with the state-of-the-art, brand-new Marconi wireless telegraph system. They were not like the Neurotic, where they were like left on their own. They were like, hey guys, we have this thing that we can signal for help. Like, hey, Florida just smacked into us. The ship, not the place. Please send help. Please.
The
please
ship,
send help.
not the place. They actually forgot to specify, and that's the reason that those ships are gone to this day.
All the other ships are like flocking to Florida, like, where is it? Where's the Republic? And she's just like in the Atlantic, like, guys, please. So they had a Marconi wireless telegraph system, state of the art. This was the staple, and this is actually the first ever ship use in history to issue a CQD distress signal on this system. So it's the first ever ship to do so. So
Wow.
good on you, RMS Republic.
You know, the Marconi guy that invented it is just like, man, that's what I invented it for. Look at me doing what I did.
I'm gonna completely derail. Every time I've been writing the word Marconi, the Marconi wireless telegraph system, I've immediately got "We Built This City" stuck in my head, and I've just been humming it. So this entire section, Marconi plays the mamba, listen to the radio, and I'm like, this is a really tragic boat death, and it's just like, but they had Marconi playing the mamba, so like, this is my curse that I am bestowing upon you, dear listener. If you every time I say the word Marconi, I want you to know that "We Built This City" popped into my head, and I'm hoping that it pops into. I'm cursing you now. It's going to be in your head now.
It sure is. Thank you. Mine too.
We built this steamship with steel and coal.
The steel and coal.
Right. So. Anyway, back to the Republic. She's got a Marconi system.
Yeah, back to the tragedy.
Back to the tragedy. She's got a Marconi system, and she's like, guys, fucking Florida, fucking hit me. Please send help. So she's now issuing the CQD distress signal, which back in the day was the original SOS.
Oh, okay.
It's CQD. So CQD was one of the first distress signals ever adopted for radio use. It was just a general blanket radio distress signal. CQ is a station code, which basically means help, like general call, ring in the bell, pay attention to me. And then the Marconi radio system added the D on the end, which stood for distress. So CQD basically means all stations, I'm in distress, please come help me.
Interesting. Okay.
So anyone who heard the term CQD, hopefully followed by coordinates or some sort of location or some sort of signifier, they would be rallied and they would come to help. It was kind of like a camaraderie system out in the Atlantic, you know, like we were all rivals in port, but out in the ocean, we were all kind of looking out for each other.
Yeah. Okay.
So CQD in Morse code is dash dot dash dot dash dash dot dash dash dot dot. It's a little bit longer than SOS, but SOS didn't exist back then, so this is what they had.
Am I being quizzed on this later? Do I need to write this down?
You will be quizzed on this later. This is coming up later.
Oh, God.
I'm not going to
Was
tell
it
you when.
Dosh?
Dosh, dat, dosh.
Dosh. I'm already so confused. Morse code always confused the hell out of me.
Yes. So SOS did exist at this time, around this time, but it was still brand new. Like they were just trying to figure it out. And that was the standard Morse code distress signal, whereas CQD was the standard all radio distress signal.
Gotcha.
So CQD was in effect. If you heard CQD, you went to help. When you hear SOS, what do you think? What do you think it means? And there's no wrong answers to this, I promise.
I'm trying to. No, it took me a minute because I forget what it is. I remember as like a kid. I think it was like "Save Our Soul" or something like that. That's what I heard.
That's pretty much what it's become.
Okay.
So SOS back in the day didn't mean anything.
Okay.
Kind of like CQD, it was like an abbreviation for all stations distress. That's really what it meant. It was like, I am in trouble, please come get me.
Yeah.
And Mom, I'm scared, please come find me. That's basically what it meant. That's SOS and CQD were interchangeable. They meant exactly the same thing, all stations distress.
Send everyone's mom to help me right now.
Yes, I am standing in the grocery lot. I'm standing in aisle 4. I don't know where I am. Please send help. So SOS doesn't really have any other meaning other than all stations distress, but it became later known as Save Our Souls or Save Our Ship. So
Save Our Ship, okay.
Save Our Ship is the other one. It's not, like they're perfectly interchangeable, that's what it's going to become, but that's not really what it means. SOS basically just means help. Help. Mom, come get me.
Help.
CQD is the same. Once again, it means all stations distress, but people took it and they were like, well, it's got to be something. It can't just be all stations distress, especially people who are not familiar with radio, like lingo.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of codes. People are like, what does it mean? It must mean something. So they actually made it stand for come quick distress.
Okay.
So CQD, if you hear it, it also means come quick distress as for like the layman's terms, but really it just means all stations distress. Come get me, I'm scared.
Gotcha. All right, interesting.
Yeah, so there you go. There's your Marconi facts for today.
Marconi. We built this city.
We built this steamship. We built this steamship with steel and coal. All right. Anyway, back to the Republic.
Yes.
So the Florida was not as badly damaged as the Republic because they are the ones that rammed, not the ones that were rammed.
Yeah.
So their front was a little bit dented, but they were pretty much like, still floating. There's no holes in our hull. We're all good.
Yeah.
So the Florida, feeling kind of bad about the situation, they immediately start loading passengers onto the Florida. They're just like, Republic, get your people on here. We're still floating. You've got a massive hole in your side. You're going down. Come on up. And they just constantly were just churning people on board. So the USRC ship, Gresham, also responded to the CQD. And once it arrived to the crash site, immediately began loading passengers as well. It pulled up to the side. It was like, okay, Florida, if you're over capacity, bring some over here. You keep taking them because you're right next to it. We're just going to create this little funnel and we're going to get these people out of here. The White Star Line's own Baltic, the RMS Baltic, also responded, but due to the distance it was at and the fog, it took way longer to reach the Republic, and it actually did not make it in time.
It was no help at all.
It was like, I'm coming! And then by the time it got there, everyone was like, oh, we're done.
They're like, great job, everybody.
Everyone's like high-fiving the Florida and the Gresham. We're just like, we did it! And the Baltic's like, I was here too. So, Florida and the Gresham were not really equipped to take on that many passengers. So, like, by the time that they had fully loaded all of the Republic's passengers, which thankfully was only 1,000, but they, the Florida and the Gresham were already fully loaded on their own. So, like, what are they going to do with these 1,000 passengers? They're basically over capacity.
Yeah.
The Baltic showing up much later, being like, I was here too, was actually kind of a godsend because they were just like, we're also understaffed because nobody wants to sail the White Star Line around this time. Get them on over here.
Perfect.
So they took a bunch of the passengers onto the Baltic.
Gotcha.
The Florida also handed over a couple of their own immigrant passengers to the Baltic, which, is interesting. They're just like, okay, can you go take these guys and take them as well? Like, we don't want them.
No, yeah. All right.
They were supposed to be on the Florida. We don't really want them here. You can take them too. Right. At this point, though, the regular Florida passengers had woken up to this, the feeling of slamming into another ship.
Yeah.
And so they began to riot. The steerage level on both the Florida and the Republic, they actually started to panic because they're like, oh, you're going to prioritize the first class passengers for safety, and we're going to get left on the sinking Republic. That is not what happened, but that was a very genuine fear. Like, you prioritize well-paying customers, we're going to make sure that our basses are on that boat as well. Like, if you're gonna start taking people, you're going to take us.
It's eerily foreshadowy.
Yes, it is kind of.
Tucking away that in my hat too.
Yes, put that one right in your hat. Anyway, so the Baltic takes a bunch of these people. It pretty much takes all of these passengers, including these immigrant passengers, and it sails right back to New York. It's like, we're gonna get you home. We'll give you a refund. So sorry about that. Whoops. All in all, only 6 people died from this collision.
That's why. I mean, truly, like, it's so sad for those 6 people, but that's insane for 2 ships colliding. That's less than double digits.
Yeah, I mean, and only 3 of them belong to the Republic. Like, 3 of those are not part of the White Star Line manifesto. That's 3 out of 1,000 for the White Star Line, which is, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So, at the time of the Republic collision, ocean liners were not required to have a full capacity of lifeboats. Like, it just was not a standard requirement. It was like, it was nice if we had them, don't really need them. So, the common belief on the North Atlantic route is that there were kind of every other ship in the ocean was a lifeboat. So if anything happened to you, another ship was usually within like 20 miles and was easily going to make it to you in time. They were going to take your passengers. They were the lifeboat. Lifeboats were just
Sure.
they were just to kind of like hold people if like things were getting a little bit wet.
Sure.
Or they were also used as tenders if the boat couldn't get too close to the wreck. That was kind of like the design of the lifeboats.
Okay, as we know, that is dumb.
That is dumb, but that it was common belief at the time, and the Republic collision reinforced this. They were like, I know we slammed into another ship, but there was another ship right there to come help us, and then another ship showed up, and then another ship rode up, and the only people lost weren't in the sinking, they were lost in the collision immediately.
Wow.
So
It happened one time, guys. Clearly, it's fine. Other ship, you're not alone on the ocean.
it reinforced that idea, and that we'll go into the next part with that in mind.
Oh, dear.
We'll reinforce that.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, so that was basically the belief, if anything happened out there, CQD would immediately alert another ship, they would be immediately on their way, and then before anything terrible happened, everyone would be loaded back safely onto the other ship, taken care of, sailed back to a port.
Well,
So, there you go. And Captain Sealby and a skeleton crew were left on board the Republic while it was sinking, and while everyone else was being slowly transferred onto the Florida, onto the Gresham, and onto the Baltic. While they were transferring passengers, Captain Sealby and his skeleton crew did their damnedest to try and save the Republic. They're like, this ship is not going down. This ship, we are keeping her afloat, and she is going to sail back to New York, and we're going to fix her, and we're going to sail her again.
yeah.
That was what they were trying to do.
And did they do it?
Well, hold on. So, while the Baltic and the Florida and the Gresham are loading passengers, two more ships responded to the CQD, the New York and the Lucania. Not the Lusitania, the Lucania, which is Cunard.
Look.
And they finally made it to the collision site, but they were kind of just watching. They were like, you guys do great.
Holler if you need us.
Yeah, Cunard's just like, look at White Star Line sinking in the ocean. Because there's donuts around them.
Jeez.
Yeah, the Florida, the Gresham, and the Baltic kind of had everything under control. So the other two were kind of like, just in case we're around, but like, we're kind of here just to watch.
Yeah.
So, classic New York, classic Lucania.
Yeah.
So, skeleton crew aboard tries to stem the flooding as best they could. They're closing up the watertight compartments. Unfortunately, the damage is kind of done. She's sinking real fast.
Yeah. R.I.P.
On January 24th, in the wee hours of the morning, the Republic sank below the waves, stern first.
Aw.
She was the largest ship to have sunk at this point in time.
Oh, wow.
Like, ships of her size did not sink. They hobbled back to port and they were repaired. They did not sink.
It's a big loss, like, financially, truly, to lose something that big that they put so much time and effort into.
They never want to lose a ship, because a ship, even if it's damaged beyond repair, is salvage. You can take parts that are still good and put them in other ships.
That makes sense.
So, and not to worry, the skeleton crew and the captain were evacuated. They were taken onto the Florida and the Gresham and the Baltic before it sank below the waves, I promise.
Good. I assumed as much. I figured that would have been the first thing.
Yes. Now, even though White Star Line only lost 3 passengers, keep in mind there were some very influential passengers on board the Republic at the time of the collision. These were high-paying, these were influential people. And so even though it was only 1,000 people on board, the loss of 3 was devastating.
Yeah. Who did they lose?
I don't know specifically who they lost. I don't believe it was any of the first class, unfortunately. I actually think it was part of the third class.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was because they hit near the cargo holds.
That's so sad.
Yeah. Now, of course, these very influential people are starting to chatter. They're like, White Star Line, that's 4 for 4. We're not doing so hot right now. That's the 4th incident we've had in 60 years. Which,
It's too many incidents.
In the grand scheme of things, is not a lot, but that's too many. It's not very reliable, unlike our boys Cunard, very reliable. They have the Lusitania, they have the Mauritania. Have you seen those ships? They're beautiful.
It's true.
So, yeah, and basically when the affluent are pissed off, nothing quite hits quite as hard as when the affluent are just like, rich friends don't go on the White Star Line. They slam into other ships.
Yeah, I can imagine, like you said, a group of people that come back that have nothing to do but talk, and talk to other rich people that have money to spend.
Yes.
Yeah, word travels fast, and there's other luxury liners out there.
There are. And so basically at this point, White Star Line's like, guys, we really fucking need a break. Lusitania and Mauritania are dunking on us. Republic, we just lost. We lost an entire ship. 3 people went down with, were killed. We're not doing hot. We're not doing great. We need a miracle. And then this is when Baby Ismay was like, guys, don't worry. My plan is nearly completed. I have decided that we are building the Olympic Star class, and we are going to start with the RMS Olympic, and she is going to save us.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
And
so,
save him, it did not.
2 years after the RMS Republic went down with the ship, the RMS Olympic was finally in open water.
Oh.
So the Olympic was the White Star Line's answer to the Lusitania. Her construction started in December of 1908, just months before the Republic disaster. So that happened while they were building the Olympic, and that was where all like the money was like, oh, we've got some insurance payouts, and also got to pay for all those families that we lost they got crushed by the Florida.
Yeah.
So, the Olympic, if the Lusitania and the Mauretania were state of the art, the Olympic was state of the art.
Ooh.
And the Olympic's two sisters that would come later, they pretty much they did nothing but improve upon the design.
Okay.
So yeah, her two sisters completely followed in her footsteps, and actually the second one that came after the Olympic, her construction began like months after the Olympic. So they were being built in tandem. They were right next to each other.
Okay.
So the Olympic-class liners were 882 feet long. Take that, Cunard.
Okay.
Look how big our fucking boat is.
Yeah. Suck on
That's
that, Cunard.
Cunard! So they were 882 feet long, or 269 meters, for those who prefer.
Man.
And she was 92 feet wide, 28 meters.
Wow.
Her top speed was 21 knots, because, speed's, that's not part of the
We're
White Star
cruising.
guarantee.
Yeah.
We're cruising. We're not speeding.
No.
Speed is for the losers over at Cunard.
Yeah.
We're all about luxury.
Yeah.
So she can go 21 knots, which is about 24 miles per hour, or 39 kilometers an hour. The Olympic class in general had about 9 decks in total, and they could hold 3,327 people.
That's a lot of people.
Yes, that included 892 crew. So like these people were they were going.
Yeah.
Like we are fully stocked. We can do anything.
Not only is that a lot of people, that's a lot of money.
That's money. Even the steerage, the tickets were, if they were filled, they were great.
Wow.
So when the Olympic was built, she was the largest ocean liner in the world.
Okay.
From 1910 to 1913. That was briefly interrupted by one of her younger sisters, but she reclaimed the title. She also held the title of largest British-built liner until 1934. So nothing beat her British-built until 1934.
And we're still in what year right now? 09?
We are in 1909.
Yeah, okay.
We're about to enter 1910.
Dang.
So the Olympic was fantastic. And yeah,
She set the standard for a long time and carried that torch.
she did. She set the standard until 1934, and 1934 is about the time that she was thinking about retiring, and then they built the RMS Queen Mary. Cunard!
Cunard! Dang it.
Yes, the RMS Queen Mary was a Cunard ship, and that was built in 1934, which unfortunately dethroned her, but God, holding that title for that long, for 33 years, not bad.
No, that's a pretty good
Not
time to be
bad.
the champ.
Just be the biggest girl on the ocean,
Yeah.
and she dwarfed the Lusitania and the Mauretania. She was
Yeah.
so much bigger.
It really is so funny to, like you said, just these two companies just kind of like trumping each other just consistently with like their ships. They're just like, oh, well, take that, take that. Oh, look at that. Oh, well, look at this.
Yeah,
And they
it's
just kept
just
going.
a staircase of what can we make that's better.
Yeah.
And as we'll find later, like they're not like looking at each other across the waves angrily, like we can build something better. They're all actively on each other. Like there are people in Cunard who are taking White Star Line cruises just to see how they could up that ship.
That's so funny. But
It's
I mean,
what they'd rather pay a ticket and like spy on it firsthand rather than just be like, we can just build something better.
that's so funny. Oh my gosh. But like that's the best kind of rivalries, right? That like push you to be the best version of you. Imagine, like you said, we didn't have Cunard in his life. He would have stopped at the first ship. He would have been like, oh, that people are so happy with this. I built a ship. Great. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But look at him. He kept going, and 3 generations in, they're building crazy ships in the White Star.
They're still trying to one-up Cunard. Yeah, I love it. Bless Cunard, but also fuck Cunard. Cunard. I would also like to say for the record, I have nothing against Cunard. I think they're great. Don't come for me.
No,
They still exist.
I'm such a fan for a rivalry. I'm just like, man, it's a good, a healthy rivalry, I think. Other than all the
Yes,
people that died.
I'm taking White Star Line stance on this, not Cunard. Like I personally, I have no vendetta at Cunard. They're doing great. Whatever they're building, whatever they've built, keep up the good work, Cunard. Doing great.
Beautiful.
Keep inspiring smaller ships to be bigger. So, Harlan de Wolf once again really struggled to make the Olympic and her sister. Like, they were massive, and they were like, we do not have the yard space for a monster of a ship this size. they actually had to stagger the construction, which is actually causing delays in the Olympic and her sister. Like, they literally could not do both at the same time. There was no physical space for them.
Wow.
The Olympic was launched on October 20th, 1910, but she was not christened.
What does that mean?
Now, here's a fact. It's basically like, God, please bless this boat and make sure that she sails fine and don't smite her.
Oh, gosh.
Please.
Well, that's a recipe for disaster, then.
The Olympic was not christened. And here's a weird fact for you. None of the White Star Line ships were ever christened.
Ever?
Ever.
Ever? Oh, my gosh.
There was never a christening on a White Star Line ship.
This is the problem.
Never.
Gosh.
That's what Cunard does. We're better than them. We don't christen our ships. No champagne bottle for you. Fuck you.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Is it the champagne bottle thing where they throw it on the ship?
It is. Yeah, that's christening.
Okay.
It's a good luck ritual, basically. They're like, God, please don't smite this ship. Please bless this boat.
Here, take this bottle of champagne. Break.
Yep, here's our finest bottle of champagne. Cheers, big man. Please do not kill our ship.
Wow, love that.
They did. White Star Line was like, we don't waste our champagne. That's for our passengers, not for God.
We can make money off that.
Yeah, we can sell that bottle. Gotta keep up with the times. Cunard, they're really, really stressing us out right now. We can't be affording this.
Never the financial recover from that one
Oh,
bottle of
never,
champagne.
we got two on the way. We can't. 2 bottles of champagne? What do you take us for?
No. Dumb tradition. We will not be partaking.
Yes. So the Olympics launch was actually like this huge event as well. Like, despite the lack of christening, it was the place to be. Like, she was specially painted so that she would show up better in the black and white photos that were going to be taken of her.
Wow. Okay.
So they adjusted the White Star Line paint scheme so that she would actually pop in black and white photos.
Wow. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, she was real pretty. She's a real pretty ship. This is actually common practice, weirdly enough. Like, most people did that, but it was just like, this is the first time, but especially because like photos were now like, oh yeah, we can take photos of our ship instead of paintings. And like, and look at this, and like, look at this catalog, and like, she's so much prettier than the Lusitania. Wow, look at that. That was like the whole thing.
That's
the Olympic
in black and white, but you're just like, look at compared to this black and white ship.
Yeah, she's popping. Look at that. Look at that hull. Classic. She's a classy lady, or is our Olympic. So the Olympic was equipped with 3 massive 4-blade propellers, which I have seen in person. I have stood next to one and I have touched it, and it is huge.
Humongy.
It's humongy. Like, she was designed, like, she may not be designed for speed, but she was designed for power. Like, she was going to go places.
Oh.
So the Olympic started her sea trials on the 29th of May, 1911, where her maneuverability, compass, wireless telegraph, and everything that possibly could have kept her afloat was rigorously tested. She passed with flying colors because she was so good.
Oh, I love that for her.
She was a good girl. So her maiden voyage commenced on the 1st of June, 1911, leaving Southampton with New York as her destination, as was the standard. She was captained by Edward Smith, who would also go on to captain Olympic's sister on her maiden voyage. Ooh. So, he was like, I think he was also promised the maiden voyage after as well. So he was like, he just got all the prestige ships, basically.
He was the maiden voyage guy.
He was the maiden voyage guy. They were just like, he's just so good at it. And these are our best ships, and he's our best captain, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
So the Olympic's designer was also on board the maiden voyage. It was a man named Thomas Andrews, and he was Lord Pirie's nephew. Oh. So he was the nephew of the owner of Harland & Wolff. So he was there to make sure that everything was going smoothly, to make sure that his design was working well, and he was also checking to see if there's anything he could improve upon for the next ship, her sister being built actively.
Gotcha. That's smart.
Yes. So Olympic was a huge success. Everyone was like, remember the loser ship Lusitania? Have you seen the Olympic? Like, look at her. She was decadent. She was smooth. She was everything the White Star Line promised. She was luxurious. She catered to steerage. She catered to first class. She was everything White Star needed to challenge Lusitania and Mauretania, because they couldn't keep up, boys. They were so slow.
They were so slow.
They were much faster, but they were less quality,
Yeah.
So, yeah, as I said, ironically enough, a Cunard Line observer was actually on board the maiden voyage and the third voyage, looking for ideas for the next ship that was going to come after Lusitania and Mauretania, be like, okay, what are we really going to do that's really going to fuck up the Olympic class? White Star!
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
They're all standing on the hulls of the Lusitania.
Just like their notepads and just like taking notes, just gosh.
Yeah, they were just like, well, like they've got this. Why don't we have this? How can we make this work? What's our layout? We can do this. Look how awful this is. We can make this so much better.
Yeah, they have 13 chandeliers. We're gonna have 14 chandeliers.
Yes, 100%. That's exactly what they were going through. They're like, what are they seeing the first class passengers oohing and awing at? How can we make that better?
Double it. Make it more luxurious.
Yes. So they were actually looking for inspiration specifically for the Aquitania. That was the ship that they were building at the time.
That's such a cool name too. Oh, I'd much rather go on the Aquitania. They just keep up in the names.
I know. Cunard was just like, you made fun of our names at the beginning. Like, hold our beer. Like, here's everything. Here's all the cool ships.
Yeah, Aquitania, man.
The Olympic was actually such a success because originally they had designed just two. They were making the sisters, just like the twin sisters, just to make sure that they were okay. And they really wanted to make a third, but they weren't sure the Olympic was going to be a success. After the absolutely smashing maiden voyage, they were like, put her in the pipe, order her. We need her. They need a younger sister. There's not enough of the ship to go around.
Yeah.
Like, expedite that shit.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the both younger sisters in a bit because they're both very interesting. But unfortunately, as with all good things, it's time for another tragedy. We're bringing the tragedy bell. White Star Line. It's time for fifth tragedy.
Jeez.
Unfortunately, the Olympics victory was very short-lived.
No, not our beautiful big girl.
Our beautiful big girl. She ran into a problem.
No.
Now, if you were paying attention before, you'll understand.
I was paying attention, but
Remember how long I said that she was the largest ship built by a British company for?
yeah.
She survives.
Oh, jeez.
But at what cost?
At what cost?
At what cost? So, Olympics victory, very short-lived.
Yeah.
This was her fifth voyage. On the 20th September 1911, the Olympic collided with a British cruiser, the HMS Hawke. So another ship-on-ship collision. So the two ships had actually been sailing parallel to each other, so they were sailing side by side through the strait between Great Britain and the Isle of Wight. So it's like one of the islands and Great Britain. It was like they were sailing between them.
Yeah.
While they were sailing parallel with each other, the Olympic made a very unexpected starboard turn. They were sailing to the right.
Okay.
Now remember, Olympic is a big girl. She is wide as hell. She's a big ship.
Yeah.
And her turning circle is not spectacular.
Yeah, I'm sure she's got a wide turning radius. She needs lots of room.
She needs lots of room. She's a wide turner, and it was a very unexpected turn. And the Hawke, ships are moving pretty slow. There's not a lot of reaction time.
Yeah. Okay, why did we do this? What was the point of this?
Anyway, we ask this question every day. We ask this question, why were they two ships sailing side by side through a very narrow strait? We don't know, but it happened. Why did the Olympic turn? We don't know, but it happened.
I just can't, why did the captain think, this is a good idea. There's a ship next to us. Let's just, bam.
Now, in defense to the captain, when you're sailing through one of the straits, usually when you're sailing through like a canal or this kind of maneuver, you're usually taken over by an expert who can navigate this thing.
Okay.
So Captain Smith actually relinquished control to a different captain so that they could sail through the thing. And it's likely that this other captain was not familiar with the state-of-the-art controls for the Olympic, and the turn was made accidentally. That's likely what happened, but it's never really been confirmed in any of the things that I read.
Jeez, ain't that just the way?
Ain't that just the way? So, Olympic's turning. She's wide. She's turning real slow, but she's turning real wide.
Okay.
HMS Hawke doesn't really even register what's happening until it's way too late. They're like, oh shit, we gotta take evasive action. Like, we gotta get out of the way.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it out in time. The other thing with this is that the HMS Hawke is a military ship, and she is designed to sink ships. She is literally built to ram into ships and sink them. That is how she is designed. She's a bullet.
Oh, well, that's not good news for anyone.
Nope. So the Olympic is turning. The side is now exposed. The Hawke just right through the hull.
Bullet is coming. Cool. Great.
A bullet just slams into her.
Love that.
So the Hawke rammed into the Olympic's hull, which ripped two massive holes into the side of the Olympic.
Yeah.
One was above the waterline and one was below.
Oh.
So the Olympic immediately began taking on water in two of her watertight compartments, and she just kept on floating.
Wow.
The Olympic literally, she took the bullet to the side of her, and she was like,
okay.
Is that it? Like, literally, like, the Olympic was not even phased. Like, she kept going.
That's insane. Like, it was taking water, but still just treading?
She just stayed like, she literally behaved as if nothing had happened.
That's real weird.
She got punctured by the military ship. They managed to pull them apart. She like examined the two sides, like two holes in their side. She's like, just put a Band-Aid on that.
All right. It's just a scratch. Just a scratch.
And they immediately closed those watertight doors. They just turned around and they immediately sailed back to Southampton. She was like, I'm just gonna go get that looked at.
I mean, that's what you want. Like, that's like... That, but that also instills you with a real false sense of security of like, my ship is unsinkable, which is a haunting word for later.
That's really weird that you chose those words, the words unsinkable. We'll come back to that.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, so the Olympic turned around, sailed right back to Southampton on her own power. Like, she basically just shut off those watertight compartments. She's like, guys, just stay out of that area for a little bit. We're just experiencing some very minor flooding. We're just going to go right back to Southampton. We're going to get that patched up. We'll get you on another White Star Line ship. It'll be fine. The Hawk, however, did not come out so easily, which I think is so freaking funny. The ship designed to sink ships was horrifically damaged.
It looks like it just like ran straight into a boulder.
So, you know, think of like an accordion. When you've got a fully extended accordion, it was like,
yeah.
That's what happened to the Hawk.
All right.
The Hawk, designed to sink ships by ramming into it, rammed into the Olympic and like nearly died. So the Hawk was so badly damaged, she actually nearly capsized from the impact right then and there.
Jeez, okay. That's so crazy.
So the Hawk was saved. Thankfully, they were very close to land and very close to other ships where they could immediately evacuate everyone. So nobody was killed and nobody was seriously injured, which is very, very good. It was around this time that the Olympic class of ships were officially dubbed unsinkable.
Huh.
It actually came out in a press release where they were examining the second ship that was being built, and then the Olympic incident happened. And they were like, just looking at these things, they're practically unsinkable. You cannot get rid of these things. Like, the White Star Line's built something that's gonna last forever.
Wow. Famous last words.
It really is. So, I have a note here. What does it say?
What does the note say?
I have a bunch of stickies on the side of my script for, like, just in case you need this later. So I'm like, what is this one?
Little note in a bottom.
Yes, so this one, 2 members of the crew on board this particular vessel, they were they survived this. Everyone was fine. There was no casualties with the Olympic collision. Mm-hmm. Thank God. And they were actually transferred later to later White Star Line ships that had incidents, survived those incidents, and then went on to a different White Star Line ship and survived that incident.
Okay.
And it was just like, I'm beginning to wonder, is the crew cursed?
Yeah.
But more on that later.
Or is the family cursed? Is it a familial curse?
Maybe it's just the Olympic class. Who said what? Anyway, so it took 2 weeks to patch the damage from the Olympic, which, you know, that's not terrible. That's not a bad turnaround time. You take her out of service for 2 weeks, you patch her just enough to get her back to the shipyard for full repairs.
Yeah.
So these repairs would take another 6 weeks, which is a little bit more devastating. It was also a huge financial setback for White Star Line. Not because it would cost any insurance or any loss of life or there was any complaints.
But because they're not making trips.
But they're not making trips, and they actually had to pull pieces out of the Olympic's twin sister to repair her because the parts were so customized and so in demand. They actually were taking pieces out of the unfinished twin sister to patch the Olympic.
Rip.
So, of course, inquiries were immediately carried out, like, whose fault was that? Why did the Olympic turn? Like, we nearly destroyed the Hawk. What the fuck is going on? Like, what happened there, guys?
Yeah.
So, fault landed squarely on the Olympic because she turned very suddenly.
Duh.
And they were like, Captain Edwards, what were you doing? Why were you turning suddenly in this very narrow strait?
And he it wasn't me.
And he was like, it wasn't me.
I'm sorry, I'll stop reading your script.
Yeah, please stop reading my script. It's getting a little weird. So the Olympic was technically under the control of the harbor pilot at the time. But they actually, when they signed that they're coming through the strait, they actually said, like, we're not responsible for any damage that might occur on your weirdly large ship that none of us know how to pilot.
Wow.
So White Star Line was left completely footing the bill for both the Olympic and Hawk repairs. They had to pay for both because Hawk was a military ship. It was owned by the government. And remember, White Star Line is taking money from the government to build their cruise ships.
Why did they put that caveat in there, though? Why did they do that to themselves?
I mean, the White Star Line didn't. That's a government agency traveling. That's the harbor pilot.
Oh, okay.
So that's the British government going, not a problem, not a responsibility. You're paying for both bills.
I'm just like, they're the ones that made these contracts, but they're not. Okay.
No, they're not. So on top of losing their flagship for pretty much like 2 months at this point, that was like making the bank, and that was like the big selling point because all the press and all of Cunard wanted to sail on the Olympic and steal ideas from her.
And now they
that's devastating. That's a lot of ad revenue. It's a lot of ad revenue.
Jeez, man, they're never gonna recover from this.
They're never gonna financially recover from this. So to repair the Olympic as promptly as they could, they took pieces away from the Olympic's twin sister, which delayed her own launch. So the twin was only supposed to be 3 months behind the Olympic. It got stretched out way into the future.
Oh no.
So they're less of twins now and more of like grumpy older sibling that's got like a bullet wound in their leg. And then the young and peppy younger twin sister who's just like, I can't wait to get out in the ocean.
And she's like, yeah, I've been out in the ocean for 3 years. It's not great out here.
Not even 3. It's been like 6 months at this point. She's like, you don't know what I seen.
You don't want this life.
You start taking bullets to the side, you never really recover. So that's the Olympic. The Olympic and her twin sister are just having a great time.
Man.
So the Olympic was returned to service on the 20th of November, 1911, which, let me remember how long ago, this was in September. So it's nearly full 2 months before she's back into service. She wasn't really the same ship. She was a little bit more janky. She was a little bit more turbulent, we should say.
She had PTSD.
She had PTSD. All those cigarettes were making her legs shake. You know,
she's like, I'm not the same ship anymore. I'm not the same ship I used to be.
Her confidence was shot. Like,
yeah.
Her suddenly turning in a very narrow strait and slamming into a military ship and then having to pay the bill.
Yeah.
The Olympic did take a bit of a hit for this. And, you know, people notice when you have a patched hole in the side of your ship.
Yeah. They're like, what's that from? And they're just like, don't look at that.
Don't look at that. To kind of rub salt into the wound a little bit, the Olympic then lost a propeller blade in 1912.
No, not a whole propeller blade? Oh my gosh.
The whole propeller just went and just snapped off.
That's not good.
Back to Belfast she went, back to the Harland and Wolff ship, and they were like, time to take more pieces out of your
I was just gonna say, yeah, they look over at the sister like, hey, you're looking pretty nice.
Yeah, like, you've got all these intact propeller blades. We can make more for you, but she needs them right now.
She needs them right this moment.
What's that, like, really sad book, like, My Sister's Keeper?
I was gonna say, My Sister Keeper this book. Like, oh my god, she literally is, like you said, she's given all her orchids, and she's just like, it's fine. This is what I'm born to do.
They're basically like, we had the twin sister just to fix this ship.
God,
like,
we
just gotta keep her going.
I'm not a fan. I feel so bad for this ship.
Yes, so, yes, as you should. The Olympic she's not the same. So Olympic quickly went from the golden child to a money bonfire. She was just, the amount that repairs were costing, the amount of damage that she was doing to other ships, like, people were like, well, White Star Line was like, she was kind of supposed to save us and be better than in every conceivable way to Cunard, but now she is like falling apart while she is sailing. You
were supposed to be better than Cunard, and you're not. You're just like a pile of poop art. Like, come on.
So, White Star Line's like, Olympic, just not making the cut. It's time to go on to bigger and better things, your twin sister.
No.
So, they're running out of options. There have been massive delays. They finally get the pieces to repair the twin sister and actually kind of get her back on schedule, severely delayed. But after extensive delays, costs, repairs, pieces made, they announced the Olympic's twin sister on the 2nd of April in 1912.
Woo.
They were like, guys, you're never going to believe this. We are happy. We're so excited to finally introduce to you the RMS Titanic.
And people, oh my God. Oh my God.
Bam. Got him.
This is not where the story gets good.
We finally made it to the Titanic.
Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh.
And that is where we're going to end part 2.
No.
Hey, be excited. We just covered 65 years of history. We're doing it.
We got to the Titanic. We're here. Wow.
Your face dropping was pretty funny.
When
you
was
figured
like,
out that the twin sister was the Titanic.
No.
I was deliberately not name dropping her so that it kind of added to the punch where it's like, okay, Olympic, you're letting us down. We've really put in all of our chips in Titanic.
Well, Well, if you thought that was bad, it's about to get real worse.
It's about to get real worse. There's a reason why I said the Olympic was the largest from 1911 to 1913, but briefly interrupted by her twin sister. It's because her twin sister really went,
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So we are here. We are finally at the Titanic. We're ending this episode here. That's pretty much all of the before context, and now we're going to get into the actual event that is leading into all of these conspiracy theories. We're at the Titanic.
Wow. Wow.
Man.
We're here.
We're here. We made it to her.
We made
She's
it.
here.
Wow.
She's ready to debut.
And I've never been so disappointed in her. She hasn't even done anything.
I'm so sorry.
God. Ugh. Wow.
Yeah.
We're at the Titanic.
We're at the Titanic. And I think that's a really good place to just end here succinctly. And then that way we can spend all of next episode just talking about basically the ship that inspired this whole mini-series? Question mark?
Yeah. Truly. I need to know.
Yes.
I need to know. Because I obviously, I think everyone knows, like, the very basic history. Like, obviously, most people have seen the movie and just know little bits and pieces. But, like, I just don't think many people know that much about it. If maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just someone who just doesn't know a lot about boats or the Titanic. But
that's fair. There's no shame in not knowing a lot about boats or the Titanic. The Titanic, it's one of the. I think it's a bit like Bonnie and Clyde, where everyone kind of knows the story, but nobody really knows the story. And I think that's why I think I picked this with the safety. Like, this is just going to be a 3-parter, and it's going to be just like Bonnie and Clyde, and I'm going to dispel the illusions, and we're going to call it a day. And it wasn't that. And it was like, oh, it's so much more, and it's so much worse, and it's so much everything else. And I'm like, as I was doing the research, it was very much like, oh, I didn't know about the Titanic, and I speak boat. I think about boat a lot. Boat live rent free in my mind. Where is boat?
where is boat?
Where is boat? Don't know where boat is. Still don't know to this day. But yeah, so I think that's the end of the pre-context. Now we're fully in the Titanic mode. We're going to talk about the Titanic in the next part. We're going to talk about how she was built, what she was designed for, how she improved upon the Olympic, and then we'll see how far we get with that.
Beautiful.
But yeah, thanks for sticking with it, guys. I know that was a lot of history. We just covered 65 years of history. We did it. That's not an easy task. That's a lot of context with no Titanic in it. So give yourself a round of applause. We did it.
We did it. We're here.
We made it
to the Titanic.
Oh, we made it to the Titanic, and it only cost us 5 ships.
Gosh.
Well,
all right.
Ma'am, where can they find us if they're waiting for some more, if they want to hear more, if they want to look for more, if you want to see our photos?
Yeah. Instagram, YouTube, great places to find us at Spookery Podcast. Or if you want to get in contact with us, where can they find us?
They can actually send us a Gmail at spookerypodcast@gmail.com, and you can ask me all questions about the Titanic that I may or may not know about.
Yes.
I think I know a lot, but there's still plenty I don't know. Yeah, and if you have any questions or suggestions for future episodes, or you just want to say, hey, that was really fun, thank you so much for doing that, we're here. Just don't say anything mean. I'm very tired. I've done so much research on the Titanic. I don't have it in me right now.
Yeah, whatever it is, just make it nice. That's all we ask.
Yeah, that's all we ask. And there's nothing left to do but to keep on sailing and mentally prepare ourselves for part 3 next week.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, with that.
Yeah. Until next time, everybody.
Stay spooky.
Stay spooky, everybody. Make good choices.
Make good choices.
Cunard! I tells it like I sees it. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna sing a lot of boats in your future. There's a lot of boats.
I think I'm never going on a cruise ever after this.
They're not so bad.
This has tacked me out of boats.
We're gonna talk about some good boats too, and some bad boats.
Good boats and bad boats.
And the naughty boats. We're gonna talk about some naughty boats today.
Oh God.
Oh, those pesky naughty boats, just sailing where they shouldn't be. Oh dear.
Gosh, what are we gonna do with them?
White Star Line, right to boat jail with you. Right to boat jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Right to boat jail.
Right to boat jail.
Oh my
right.
gosh. All right.